stay close.
So initially, I just want to welcome everybody. Thank you for coming. So I'm going to read the mission statement for Progressive Nanaimo, and just so you have, and try to give you a little understanding of what we're trying to accomplish here. So the mission statement is pretty clear. Progressive Nanaimo is a community organization dedicated to good governance in Nanaimo. We provide a forum for discussion of the principles of good government. We will support candidates who are committed to tangible, measurable goals in areas of environmental responsibility, the economic life of the city, meaningful citizen engagement, and transparency in civic affairs. So if you can't agree to that, you're probably in the wrong place. It's pretty neutral. So I'm Jeff Solomon. I've been involved with Call Me Down, and this is not about a specific one single issue. This is about, we have become involved, a lot of other people have become inspired because of an issue that a lot of people became aware of. And then we were also, we noticed that there were some deficiencies or some inadequacies or however you want to call it in terms of how our governance is. And so a lot of people will come forward and become involved in that way. I am one of those people. I never went to a city council meeting in my life before. I never paid attention before, and that was, and I really had my eyes made wide open as time came along. So who we are wanting to be totally neutral. What we want is we want people to become much more aware and much more involved. This is not simply about getting a higher voter turnout. What we want is for people to make educated choices. So that is a big part of the process. We want to welcome other members from the Chamber of Commerce here today. Okay. Well, you're very, very welcome. Thank you for coming. We've also read your mission statement in terms of the election, and it's great. I really appreciate that. I believe there's some members from the ratepayers, and thank you for coming. If anybody has noticed in terms of our taxes going up every year, or if you haven't paid attention to that, then you're missing something, because whether or not that's a sustainable issue, a lot of people are going to argue that it's not. So thank you for coming, ratepayers. And we have been in touch with other organizations, because what we want is exactly the same in terms of getting people aware of some of the very, very important issues in this town. We also want, are there any incumbents here that are sitting already on city council? I think I noticed one or two. Fred, I believe. And there you go. And thank you very much for coming, you guys. I know Bill is running for, he's an incumbent on city council, but he's running for the mayor position. Fred is an incumbent on city council, and he's running again for city council. And what we were going to hope, or we want feedback from you people, because you're the ones who have this experience. And you also may be an individual like Fred, you may well be sitting next to other individuals that come forward in terms of their involvement and wanting to be counselors. And so it's very, very good to get your feedback, as well as other incumbents, in terms of what you think of people possible people that are going to be forming our next government. So it's really, really important. I also really want to thank you very much to the public. Thank you for coming. We think that this is a very, very important step for our city, and I think it's something for people to continue to be aware of and to make sure that they make educated choices as we go along. So the goal, again, it's not to just get people voting. That's really, really important. We have less than 30% of the people vote. But I bet you that there was an awful lot of people that didn't know who they were voting for, or didn't really have a firm understanding. Other than seeing a poster, seeing an ad, there wasn't maybe the opportunity for people to really understand what choices they were making in the last election and the last number of elections. And I'm one of those people, by the way. I would look at a little ad in a paper, and look at a caption, and look at a face, and say, well, I think that person might be great. And they might be great, but I didn't make an educated choice, and a lot of other people didn't either. So what we want is a balanced council. We're not looking at a special interest group as dictating the entire, what the council should look like. We want a balanced council. What could happen is that we would want people that can really gain from each other, that bring specific skills, perhaps, and an outlook, and that people will recognize, admire those skills, and take from each other. If you don't have to agree on every point, the best logical arguments or discussions happen with people that come from divergent viewpoints, that can gain and respect each other's viewpoints, and then take that information and build on it, and then make educated choices as we go along. That's what could form a good council. Some people say, oh, that's too high of a goal, that's a utopian kind of principle. We don't believe that's the case. We think that's the way it should be. And we think that's achievable. So how do we do that? We want to do it by public forums. We had September 17th. We wanted to see who was out there. We had 16 candidates come forward on the September 17th public forum. And that was well before people had an opportunity to declare publicly. So that was a good start. And we did get some good feedback, and we did get some good information from that. And now we have this public forum. And we're going from here, and I need the candidates to know this, is that we're going from here to another public forum on October the 23rd. I'm going to tell the public right now that we weren't able to get this room, and you can see it's a little bit crowded. We have Bowen Park on October 23rd. It's going to be a different format. It's going to be more of a discussion, debate format to see how people engage with each other in a roundtable discussion. So all the councillors will be invited to that. Now, this is not that, it's very important for people to be aware that we have a site. There's other means of doing this. There's other means of gaining the access to the information about specific candidates. We want people to be informed. But the Progressive Nanaimo site is up and running, and thank God for Trish, because she runs the site, and you do a great job, and it's good. And we have some of the candidates on there. We have, I believe now we have 11 councillors that are vying for the position that are on the site, and that's really good. We want people to be able to access that site and to be able to interact with those people. So what it is that we have asked questions. We think there's very important questions to be asked, and some are very, very basic questions. Like, do you have the time to be a city councillor? Do you have 30 hours a week? Do you have at least that? And I'm sure some people, like Fred Patchy, might be putting a whole lot more hours into it. So that's really huge. Do you have the time to do that? Do you have an understanding of the job? Do you really know what it is? You might be a great person, you might have fantastic skills, but do you understand what the job is? We are entrusting our city council with about a $200 million corporation to run our city. And 7 out of those 9 people that are elected will also sit on the RDM, which has a huge amount of money that's attached to that too. So we are asking a lot from these people, and yet we do not know if they actually have the skills to do that. So I think these are really important questions. We've asked a bunch of questions. There's lots more questions that can be asked. All you have to do is click on the site and ask those questions. We're asking candidates to be, unless you tag yourself on that site, then you're going to have to go back into the site and check to see if there's been people that have asked you questions. And we would like you to respond to those questions. And because that way everybody has a chance to see what your response is. And that's really important as we go forward. So we don't want this decision to be made just by how many signs you have, how much money you have for advertising. We want it to be a decision that's made, a good decision that's made on a whole bunch of information that people can access. All right, is that it? So the agenda for tonight is, oh, by the way, I forgot to, I'm Jeff Solomon. Oh, yeah, I'm not running for city council. But I am for the school district. I'll put my 2 cents in, so if you want to vote for me, go for it. Okay, so that's my big push. So the agenda for tonight is, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ask each of the councillors, we're dividing the site out into 2 different sections. We have the mayor candidates that are coming at the latter part of the night. We're asking each of the candidates to come up to the front here, so you have some understanding of who's running the city council. Each of those candidates will have 90 seconds. Okay, to talk and to say why they come forward, why they're running for city council. This is a very, very big job, a very important job. So we have to respect that these people are making a huge decision in their lives, and that's not easy. And finally, this is basically we're a third party electoral. What are we? Anyway, so we're not a party. Nobody's joining us. We are trying to represent the citizens of Nanaimo to hopefully choose or suggest people that could form a new city council that will function in a way that will really make the city work really well. And that's our goal. That's what we're going to end up trying to do.
What's the process of people deciding who the rest of Nanaimo will support? Or
Okay, so we're going to do it for, thanks Mike. So, okay, we want the feedback. We got some feedback at the last meeting. We're going to hopefully get a lot of feedback from this meeting, and we have another one October 23rd. So, and we're also going to monitor the site and see what people are saying on the site. We also are going to do personal interviews with the councillors if they so wish to be involved that way. Remember, every councillor, everybody that's running, they are responsible for their own campaign. We're not running it for anyone. And they don't have to have anything to do with us. Not every prospective councillor has put themselves on the site. And that's absolutely fine. However, for us to understand and to be able to support and suggest people that we think might be viable candidates or form a, it's more difficult. We're not going to chase people all over the world to try to get those answers. Like, do you have 30 hours a week to spend on city council? You know? So we want that information. So if you make yourself available of that, that's easier for people to understand. So it's a process, and it won't be decided until the end of the month. Okay, so we're going through steps here. All right. Finally, like I said, we don't have a lot of money. If you want to support us in terms of renting a room or putting an ad in the paper for our next forum, and down the lines, there's a box there. About back $2. So right now, what we'd like to do is to invite the councillors who are present today to come up to the front here. So you have a visual, and they will each have 90 seconds. And this guy here, Bill Carter, will actually monitor that and give you, do you want to say what you're doing?
Hi, candidates.